Go7, Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Testing. Okay, there. Now it's working. Front shift. You went out to Twitch. Yes, we still have Twitch and YouTube going. I still need to work on the Twitch side of things a lot more, but it's there if you want to use it. Hope everyone's doing well. Survived a whole week without me. A week and a day. Or, well, a few days. The penguin lives! Mega Man. I was trying to remember who was the person that was bringing up the fact that they weren't on the list when they should be on the list. It was you. And your name is on Discord. What's your name on Discord? Like Inu. Something like that. I'll have to use the search function. You send your replays via Advanced Warrior. Inu the Tengu. Send them via Advanced Warrior. Okay. Have I not covered this? The last game I got from Advanced Warrior was 2 months ago. I'll assume I haven't covered it. Bring it up real quick. Vault 94 versus... I don't recognize this game. At least not immediately. Let's get to add it to the list on the double. I'll even bump it up because it's super late. You're not going to see it updated on YouTube, but on my own database it will be. I'm going to put it right beneath. I'm going to put it right beneath ManaNek. I think that's a pretty similar solution to me. Okay. It's on my list. Twitch is failing you? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Twitch. Let me check again. Sure, my Streamlabs says everything's going well, but then Twitch was like, it's unstable, your keyframe interval is too high. I don't know what that means. No idea. Something to work on in the future, I guess. Okay. Wow. First game we've got here is a Go7 game. Welcome, keatonfox. You made it. School's out almost. Yes, last week. Boba Extreme. Which is failing you. I'm so sorry, Fluffy. Gotta go, Shadow. All these names are so hard to read on this background for me. I don't know if there's a way I can change that. I don't know. For science later, I guess. Once again, with the blatant Go7 favoritism, it's true. It's true, and I'm shameless. That's mainly because, at least initially, people always wanted me to cover my own games, so my games got priority when they finished. If people want to change that, that's totally fine with me. If you're like, you know what? These Go7 games are the worst. We want our own games. Then I will be added to the queue just like anyone else. You're turning in at 3 a.m.? Well, I hope I can put you to sleep. Go7 goes first. Okay. Look at that. Fluffy agreeing with himself. Okay. You guys can see the mouse. We've got Sketch Turner in the yellow down here. It was green in the game, but yellow here. Playing Sensei. I guess me, Hawke, on one of these, I think this map is called Capsized. So, just looking at this matchup, my whole goal, and pretty much everyone's goal when they're playing against Sensei, when they're like playing as Hawke or Olaf or Eagle, is just to survive. Because if we can get to the late game where we both have pretty much maxed out armies, I'm just gonna win because I've got a way better super in that environment. And all my vehicles are going to be better, except for, you know, copters. So, that's just my goal here. Sensei's going to be able to just absolutely destroy me in the early game because of all the free units he gets, because of the strong copters he gets. There's lots of airports on this map. But as long as I just don't die, I should win. Or at least I'll be much more favored because I'll have global damage. My vehicles have plus 10% attack baseline, where the Sensei's are minus 10%. So that's really nice for me. So that's going to be the entire goal here. There's a few ways I want to not die. The first one is to make it so the contested cities in between the bases don't get captured for Sensei so that he can't summon infantry from them and attack me really quickly. So like this city I want to contest heavily. This city I want to contest heavily. I'll try and contest these like center cities very heavily. But those are, and I guess like this one and these ones, these are the ones I've got my eyes on. I don't need to take them myself. I just need to stop Sensei from taking them so that he can't spawn infantry from them and kind of like snowball crush me with waves and waves of free units. As long as the free units are spawning, backwards a bit, it's not quite so bad. The other thing, that's the main thing. The other thing I want to try and achieve is that no one gets a comm tower. I mean, ideally, I could get a comm tower, but what I really don't want is for Sensei to be able to do more damage and kill off my units, because I can heal my units. And I want to keep those unit counts nice and high. So, I'd love it if Sensei's vehicles all just maintained a minus 10% attack. And so I will keep an eye on any attempt to go for these comm towers, and I'm willing to sacrifice quite a bit in order to make sure that none of them get captured. Luckily, they're all in really easily contested areas by either boat or air, so it's pretty tough to get these comm towers if anyone's paying attention. Sensei unit spawns starting top left, that's how it works, yeah. It always spawns from cities, and there's not too many cities on this map. I mean, there's a few, they're just super spread out. So it's not like the most insane Sensei map, but like the attack up this way is pretty scary. The attack coming down here could even be pretty scary if this city gets taken. This base seems very vulnerable though. If this city gets taken and like these cities gets taken, I don't know how you'd possibly hold on to this against the Sensei. So yeah, that's the main things to keep in mind. The only winning move is not to play. I'm trying to deny Sensei from capturing the contested cities as best I can. And I'm trying to deny the comm towers just to survive long enough that the Sensei unit count advantage and the Sensei power spam advantage kind of falls off in comparison to my Hawke day-to-day and Hawke power / superpower. I wasn't quite sure how I actually want to open this map though, because it's a little weird when you have some pretty vital, what do you call it? I was gonna say vital choke points, but like not prized area, whatever. You know what I mean? Like comm towers in the ocean and the labs able to be points of contention. There we go. Just kind of sitting out in the ocean, so you can't just kind of go for like city captures right away. You want to get your transports up and running pretty quickly in order to actually contest these points. And also you need to keep in mind that these lab cities areas are also very easy to flip because they're very narrow. So all you need to do is your infantry on there and then just block this tile, and that's pretty hard to interrupt. So these central labs, you're pretty much expected to lose them, at least from what I can tell. And then these are the labs that you'll be fighting over for the most part, at least until you can flip the other person's lab in the center. Because the way it works for labs is you lose if you have 0 labs, if there's no HQs. You lose if you have 0 labs. As long as you have at least 1, you're still in the game. So it's okay to lose 1 of these, you just can't lose both of them. Okay, so Sensei rushed this airport, which I did not do. I rushed the harbor because I was thinking, well, if I can steal this city away before a Sensei power goes off, that's going to be very helpful in maintaining control over here. Because if Sensei gets a power off early on and like gets an infantry here, it immediately goes for this capture. And while it's sitting there, it can potentially interrupt any airport capture I go for. So I would prefer to not have this city be quite a threat. Although it would also require that Sensei you know, got the power before I get to this airport, which isn't super likely. It's not impossible, but it just depends on how I'm moving out these infantry. The airport's a really awkward distance from these bases, because if you go for this capture first, it still takes 2 more turns to get to the airport. If you go from this base, 1, 2, 3, it's so awkward. So if Sensei is really aggressive with the unit sacrifices, it's not impossible to have some sort of interrupt going on with the airport. It'll be a 2-hour stream. Battleships are pretty powerful, but you also have to... they're kind of powerful. There's a lot of airports that harass them, and there's also multiple harbors that can build submarines to try and go after them. So they're good, but not, like, insane. So yeah, I'm going to go for the black boat really early in order to try and threaten this city as best I can. And I'm going to have this copter come over to help support while I get this airport up and running. While at the same time kind of threatening over here. Like, if this infantry goes in here, I might smack it if an anti-air doesn't get built, that kind of thing. You can see my infantry's already lined up to go for this capture. I went straight to this city and into this city, or into this spot to go for this capture. We have the transport copter coming out from Sensei. Now, Sensei does have the extra movement on the transport copters, which is pretty nice. And definitely quite the threat. You can go to here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go for this comm tower right away. You might be able to do that anyway, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you can do that with anyone. Oh, is this not giving the Sensei extra movement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's not. Well, Sensei's transport copters and transport units can go in extra tile. The replay viewer just doesn't recognize that right now. That's okay. Please stop. Stop winning in high funds. I'm just lucky that I haven't run into Gee. Oh. You'll catch up. It's okay. You'll beat him. You'll get your revenge. Sketch seems to be going for what you usually see on this map. 3 bases in the airport rushing to 1 base, 1 airport, and 1 port in the bottom left. Yeah, well, it's pretty common to see the our indirects with Sensei. The idea being that you get all these free units and they can kind of be the cannon fodder for your indirects. You gotta go soon? Hope you come back, ManaNek. See ya, everyone. So here I am. I'm landing over here. I'm not too worried about this situation, other than I really don't want the city to fall. The other thing I want to do is make sure I can maintain as many infantry as possible. Because every time, the Sensei would love to trade out infantry with me, since Sensei's infantry are basically free. Okay. So my copter comes over here, kind of forces the anti-air to stick around. Otherwise, I can pester these infantry, which is nice because it means the anti-air isn't coming down over here. It means it isn't going over here. And there wasn't an anti-air built over here, so this copter can just kind of fly over and help interrupt this capture, because I really don't want to let the city flip. Like so. And this is nice because now Sensei can't kill my infantry. The copter just kind of stands in the way. 1, 2, 3. They can only hit me from the city, which isn't like a great hit for me, but it doesn't kill my infantry. So as long as the infantry's alive, I can always repair it up, and I won't go down in the unit count. This is just being annoying to cost Sensei some money. Obviously, you strike first, you get the 6/6 trade. Not amazing, but every turn you're delaying a capture on the harbor or on a property in high funds, it costs them 2,000 in income. So here, I'm trying to... to me, it looked like the Sensei is going to like go for this city and then pop into this transport copter and go for the comm tower. So I'm going to run up here and tag this guy to make it so if Sensei does go for the comm tower, either this capture has to be given up or this one has to be given up. Even though, in theory, the recon could kind of get trapped a bit. Not really. The anti-air is kind of covering for it. It's you'd pretty much always go for this attack, but that's why I went for it. You could also hit the other choice is to hit the transport copter to try and make it so it's easier to kill off by ground units, but usually you'll just have a copter and anti-air end up hitting that anyway. Okay. Excuse me. So the Sensei copter smacks my poor capturing infantry here, right in range of my copter. Now, Sensei's copters, they have plus 50% attack, which is absolutely insane. So they're very strong, which is why I knocked it all the way down to 2. So even when I go for copter first strikes, it's going to look pretty nasty. And you can see that Sensei built a fighter, which I'm not completely sold on the fighter idea, but the fighter does cover the copter with the idea of like, oh, my copter hits their copter and then the fighter kills my copter. But you'll see, this will be painful. I knocked him down to 3 and I still take 3 back. And then I build a carrier. Which is definitely a pricey buy, one could say. The idea behind the carrier is that I'm attacking into this area and I don't want the fighter to just kind of get a free kill on my copter. The anti-air isn't really guarding it because if the fighter kills my copter from here, then the infantry can just clear out my infantry and the anti-air can no longer reach. So the carrier is an immediate response to the fighter. I want to try and nullify the fighter buy and kind of get like immediate value on the carrier. And the other thing the carrier can do, which I was really happy with, is it can lock down either this airport or this one from this ocean area. And that's a long-term goal. There's a few other reasons I built the carrier. It's a very expensive unit, so if a copter runs up and smacks it, I'll get a lot of charge that I can use to do global damage everywhere. It's also got a very convenient range for dealing with copters. If you've used carriers before, you'll probably remember that copters have a hard time taking on carriers. Bombers do not, because the carrier has range of max 8 with a minimum range problem of 2. So if you've got 6 movement, you can never go from outside range to the inside the minimum range. So the copters can never make that dive. Only bombers can. So as long as I am keeping Sensei, if Sensei wants to keep on the copter spam, then the carrier is going to be able to pick off free copters usually. And it'll take multiple copters to dive in and hurt my carrier, which won't be so bad because The idea is like, if 2 copters come at me, I shoot 1 copter, the other one comes in and hits me, and then I have my own copters to go after that one, while I then get just a ton of charge off of it and do a bunch of global damage. So that's the plan, is immediately I can deal with the fighter, then I can move on to locking either of these airports, and just being a real pain for these copters, because another thing is that, of course, Sensei copters have that plus 50% firepower, so they're going to be a really main component in trying to kill any of my bases. Did chat freeze? It shouldn't freeze. Okay. And you'll see that I put my black boat here. That's to make it so it's more difficult for Sketch Turner to stop my copters from hitting this comm tower. Like, the fear I have here is the fighter comes in, it kills my copter, and then battlecopter plus transport copter block off here as his infantry goes for the comm tower capture, and then my copter can't hit the comm tower. So I'm having it set up so that if the battlecopter, it'd be like battlecopter, transport copter here, the fighter hits here, and then my carrier is kind of obligated to shoot the fighter. Otherwise, I have to shoot one of these guys to interrupt the comm tower, but the fighter's okay, and that's not great. So with the black boat here, the battlecopter and the transport copter are not enough alone to block this off. In fact, I don't think you can block it off because my anti-air here clears off these areas, so my battlecopter is always going to be able to find a way in, even if this copter also comes in as a blocker. Anyway, that's why the black boat went over here and hugged the comm tower. It's like saving my spot in line. It's saying, I want a copter to be able to strike from here. I know, dark blue text and dark background. The names are so hard to read, but I don't know how to change that. So next time we're going to figure out how to change that so you guys don't have to deal with the dark blue on the dark background. I'll probably try and change the background. Just hit refresh and it changes. Oh, the chat just vanished. Oh, you have to try typing again. Okay. Sensei goes for the capture on the comm tower. Smacks my battlecopter. Smacks my battlecopter. Join caps on the harbor. I have been being very nice in delaying this. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's way easier to read. Okay, so refresh. The refresh is the secret. Interesting. So it just randomly decides. Okay. So I am going to get this city thanks to some vehicle body blocking. Success. And these infantry moving over here for me, that's pure bluff. They are not going to try and contest anything. I would like to keep them around as much as I can for future actions. Boom, we got Copter Command, our first power from Sensei. Out comes a ton more infantry. Not too many, I guess. But they're pretty close to the fronts, which are nice. I'm not sure why this one went backwards onto this mountain. So here I could try and do some fancy sacrifice play, but it's not going to work because I don't have enough firepower to go 4 health. If I was Sensei, I could go 4 health, full health, strike, try and break this. I'm just going to have to be content and how much I've delayed this, and I'll just try and keep this infantry alive. Here we're going to come in for the delay. Antair's going to finish off that infantry and then stand on the city. I've got my eyes on this transport copter because seeing it move over here just makes me think it wants to go pick up an infantry and then go for one of these comm towers. So every turn I'm making sure that it can't sneak one. It's going to kind of force a lot of copter production out here. You can see a copter on by can interrupt both of these comm towers, which is nice. I'm not completely sold on this attack. It's mainly to make it a little annoying for Sensei to take my lab and city over here by just reducing the number of infantry around to capture, but it's probably better to just keep the full health infantry and move back. Yeah, you can see these guys are running back. I'm fine with building the copter here because there's no way for Sensei to stand on my airport. So if the anti-air comes in and hits my copter, I can just shell it with my artillery and then finish it off and then build another copter. And then there'll no longer be an anti-air in range to deal with my copters, and I'll start having some dominance in the area. And then here, we're just setting ourselves up to protect the copter from this menacing fighter and have the artillery staring at the city. Okay, so you can see Sensei copters are mighty strong. I think Black Hole and Cobalt Ice are enemies, yeah. Well, the Sensei copters can just kind of one-shot my copters with that plus 50% firepower. No fun. And we see the response to the carrier is the battleship. I am conveniently out of range of a battleship being built, though. So my carrier can still, in theory, fire. Right now I can kill off this copter. We have the Sensei attack over here. Not great to have my anti-air smacked here. It is overlooking the Sensei airport because I want to keep that pinned down. And this is a really odd move. I don't know if Sketch Turner just kind of misjudged the range of the carrier, but the fighter moves exactly into the max range of the carrier. So I wasn't sure if this was a power play, as in like Sketch Turner wants the 20k charge gained here. Because right now my carrier has a choice. It can either fire at this battlecopter and kind of like help ensure that this comm tower gets denied, or it can fire at the fighter, which, to be fair, the fighter isn't really doing anything to me. So I did deliberate on this for quite a while. But in the end, I'm like, you know what? A free fighter is a free fighter. And I'm just going to have to deal with the copter later. We do get to go for the Black Wave, because I'm a little concerned about this attack force. I'd like to also deal with this comm tower this turn so I can Black Wave and then repair up my battlecopter and smack this up. It also ensures the anti-air dies here. And we can zoom in here, get the hit on this artillery, finish off that, go for an attack here. Unfortunately, my anti-air is not able to kill this infantry, so my copter doesn't get the smack on this copter. It's too bad, but I don't think that's even a roll. I think I have to have something else that helps with that. Okay, so this did give a ton of charge to Sensei, so I'm a little concerned about mechs being spammed or coming out. So I'm going to start being a little more cautious around these cities, and that's why this anti-air is going to retreat. I'm not sold on this anti-air attack. It's kind of fine, but I'm like, it's not very easy for me to actually keep this anti-air safe. So it's probably better to just retreat with it. So the plan over here is I'm going to fall back away from these infantry. They still can't reach the base, so I'm okay. And they're all injured, so they can't capture this in just one turn. And I can bring the artillery back behind this mountain to continue to deny this city. And I'll have achieved my goal of denying both of these contested cities and all of the comm towers. And the last goal is to, of course, survive and not lose both my labs. This one's probably going to go down, so it's pretty important that I maintain control over here. Unfortunately, I've used my power, so I don't get the charge from my carrier getting smacked. The fighter replacement, again, a little weird to me, but it does put a lot of pressure on me in the air. Okay, my injured copter goes down. It is covered by this copter, also covered by the carrier. So the carrier will have another choice next turn. It can either stand here, kill off this copter, and get potentially shelled by a battleship, or it can move. Battleships hit carriers pretty hard, so I'm not a huge fan of getting hit by that. And we have a copter command, the continued onslaught of the infantry. You see how important it is to make sure that these contested properties are not taken from me, at least easily. You really don't want those units just kind of spawning. Down goes the anti-air, so sad. Spawning on the front lines. 1 health infantry. What a champ. Okay. So it is 50 units to 37, which is pretty rough, but most of those are all infantry. And you can see from the unit value, I'm actually doing pretty much fine there. Did some cities get blocked? Yeah, I'm going to come in here. I know that my anti-air is going to get smacked, but it's not going to die because it's on a lab, tank, copter. It can do a lot of damage, but it's not going to kill it. And that's fine. It'll give me some charge. I can deny the city for a longer time. Happy days. And here I'm just going to start shelling some infantry and put a lot of pressure on this base. Okay. Do a little sack to break through and get this tank hit. Copter comes in. 3-7. Even when attacking in 9 health. Build some more copters. Right now this tank is being very handy. It's blocking this anti-air from hitting my airport. And this copter can't quite reach to break it. So we got our artillery in place to help deny the city potentially. The carrier does go back here, which is a little bit dangerous. That's why I want to have this copter here and this copter nice and healthy. So that, because the fear is that Sensei puts a copter here, and it doesn't really matter if it's the carrier, but it means the carrier wouldn't be able to leave, and then the battleship can kind of roll up for free and take it out. So I need to have a pretty good air force over here just so the carrier doesn't get trapped. It should be, I think the unit count limit is 70. I don't think it might be 50. I don't think it is though. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit of heat on this poor one base. So I am going to pump out a medium tank. I'm not too worried about the battleship at this point. The main plan for the battleship is that it will get swarmed by copters, with my copters kind of having supremacy thanks to the carrier. So as long as I can keep the carrier alive, the battleship should just kind of get killed off by both my powers and the copters. Right now it's kind of got a choice of, oh, it doesn't even have a choice. It can't actually reach this. So I'm pretty happy if at the end of my turn I'm only 4 behind in unit count. Happy days. This does... My anti gets smacked, which is of course a little painful, but it does also delay the city being captured. Rest in peace, Copter. My tank gets attacked. My tank dies. It's supposed to live through the day, so that tile would be open. Oh well. Anti-air smacks my tank. Infantry go for the tank. The lab starts being captured. Danger, danger. There's not too many artillery. Luckily, of course, I'm Hawke, so I do get to use global damage. And that kind of wears down the vehicles for Sensei. A bomber gets built, which was a bit of a surprise for me. Infantry on the harbor, holding his own. Yeah, we'll go to 53, so the 50 is not the unit count limit there. Okay. So at this point, it's time for the carrier to leave the harbor, because I will be able to deal with all of the copter threats that were coming at it. And the battleship's also kind of staring at it, and the base. Here comes the black wave. Unfortunately, as Hawke, you tend to want to use the super rather than the power, just because of how the charge works out. It's more efficient to use the super. But when you're under a lot of pressure, you gotta use what you gotta use. And I did know that Copter plus Recon's a guaranteed kill there. The artillery does get the fire, knock this down to 1 to delay the capture another turn. And potentially delay it even longer. We're going to attack in here. I really want to deny this capture because it's one of those contested cities. So there we go. And we can bring some artillery over here to start locking down this base. The carrier's going to move up here. Still covers everything I really wanted to cover. And it also is a huge threat on this airport. We're going to join cap to make it really scary. The only thing that can interrupt this city capture is the battleship can't. I thought the battleship could. Oh, never mind. Nothing can interrupt this capture. So I'm going to get it. And I'm going to build my own battleship. It is in range of the Sensei battleship, but that's a 7 health Sensei battleship. It's got minus firepower. It's attacking a battleship in harbor. I think it can do like 2 damage to me. Not much fear. I don't really plan to shoot the opposing battleship, at least not for a while. The whole purpose of this buy is to shoot the lab so that I don't lose. And I'm gonna sack the 4 health tank to help guarantee that I have some wiggle room on the lab there. Okay, run back anti-air. It maybe should have run back even further, but they can't really get out of range of this tank, so that's okay. Yeah, all victories start with not losing. That's the whole purpose, yeah. Yeah, this base from Sketch Turner is looking a little bit dicey, but if it builds like a mega tank or something, that's the real purpose. I don't really expect to kill the base. If it builds a mega tank here with like some copter help and stuff, I don't think I can take it with my current force. But what I'd really like is if money starts getting poured over here so that the attacks over here doesn't keep getting so much support. So my poor lab starts being captured. Rest in peace, tank. But it did its job. So something you'll notice here, which the fighter came in and smacked my copter that went after the battleship, another battleship. Copter command up to 54 units. They swarming. Join cap. But luckily the tank did go in there, so I only have to knock this down to 4 to stop the lab from getting capped, which isn't so bad. The double sack into this copter. I didn't even see that. Wouldn't recommend that. Those infantry would have been a lot more annoying if they were just kind of standing here and here, because it forces me to use attacks on them potentially. Tons and tons of attacks. So something you'll notice here is that I'm not really sending anything to contest this. And that's because I would like my opponent to have as much invested in this attack so that there's less invested in the attacks where I think it matters a lot more, which is like over here. It's kind of the same reason why Sensei hasn't really invested much over here. It's just I think Sensei's invested way too much in the attack on this lab. Well, at this point, Sketch Turner's plan, I assume the Sensei player realizes that as the game goes late, Hawke is just going to be a lot stronger. So at this point, the plan is not really to take this base, it's to take both my labs and win that way. And this one's just going to get taken. And I'm not going to be able to do anything to stop that. This one I can deny because I built the battleship and it knocks it down to 4 guaranteed. And I just have to position myself so that I can kill this off next turn. I'm only one anti over here, so I can only hit one of these or this one. It's kind of overloaded. I'll bring the artillery in. So now I have a battleship and an artillery overlooking the harbor here. Building another medium tank. Just making sure, and I want to keep this infantry alive because there's a potential that it needs to get sacrificed to clear this. Either the sacrifice to weaken down the lab or the sacrifice to clear a blocker. I don't think it has to get sacrificed to clear a blocker, but that was the idea. It can walk onto this mountain to smack something. But this is what I was talking about, where I didn't really worry too much about the battleships because I managed to get that copter dominance, and so they can just kind of get pestered down. What are the options to decide what units are lab units? Anytime you make a game, it's not really up to the map. It's up to whenever you create a game, you can toggle what units are lab units. In Global League, no units are lab units. Okay, this city does fall. I was very sad I wasn't able to stop that. But I felt at this stage I'm probably fine. So, no worries. I'm a little confused by this. It says it deletes some units. I think it's to try and stop me from getting my power, but I don't really need the power to break this, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that. Yeah, medium tank can come down here, kill off that anti-air. We'll do our little sacrifice. In comes the medium tank to kill it off. Hit the artillery. Hit the tank. Battleship sinks the battleship. And then my copters go after the other battleship. And then my carrier can cover the copters against the fighter. And that's the end. As we know it, here I'm going to build double fighter. Because the last real threatening force is bomber and a couple of copters out here. And I get to go for one of these island cities as a plus. And that's going to be GG. So I'd say my plan ended up working out pretty decently. I did end up losing the city at the very end, but at that point it didn't really matter. None of the comm towers got captured. Happy days. And I did basically do the just survive long enough to make the Hawke versus Sensei matchup flip. Yeah. And Sensei getting too old for this. GG. It is quite the hectic map. That is for sure. I don't think I really stalled. I was pretty aggressive. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of stalling. Chatting in both. If you play in the Chinese league, then they do use, for like fog games at least, they do use lab units, and those lab units are stealth, bomber, and neotank, I think. Well, I didn't go Olaf because I was worried that my opponent might go Olaf, and I know that Hawke is pretty good against Olaf. Having played Olaf versus Hawke, it can be a tough matchup for sure. The fact that the comm tower is also so contested, I liked having the extra firepower. Epic fail. Couple ice. Yellow comment. I know, Fluffy. You got a different number of E's. No matter what tier Olaf is in, everyone fears that Olaf Ditto. It's true. Is it a stealth fighter in Neotank? I thought the bomber was banned, or not banned, but a lab unit. And you could build fighters. I'm pretty sure it's the bomber that's a lab unit. Yeah, you can definitely build fighters. Okay. We've got epikfaal versus achesst here. Cobalt Ice versus, well, the yellow comment, of course, I make it like that. In a Kindle mirror on Sahara. This is a very old map, by the by. Olaf mirror is by far the worst. Kindle mirror, or as you call it, an urban fight. This is Twitch chat, eh? So we'll see. Ooh, we have a nice fancy start the capture, move on, and go for this capture. Voice of Akasha would be so proud. Keep your opponent guessing. A little weird for this infantry to go over here for this capture when there's another one right here. But I guess this guy's kind of primed to go up here. I just don't know what this infantry is doing after this capture is what I'm a little confused about. I might have gone towards the center instead. This seems like it's become a back capture at this point. But I do kind of like the going for this city first and not going for like the both cities with the same infantry, instead going up for this one. I do kind of like that opening from achesst. Epikfaal's doing the opposite, where like goes for this city and then this city, and then this infantry is probably going to run down here. Yeah, the only thing I would change about this is I would just delay this city a little bit at this point, just because there's no good path. Like, you could go back this way, I guess, but this guy's faster going back that way, so I would just delay this city for a couple turns, go for the more contested properties. We do have the tank from epikfaal coming out. Looks like it is going down this way. And that tank is in response from a chest. Okay. So far things seem to be getting cut pretty evenly. Jess is going to get the city way faster, which is nice. But at the same time, it doesn't look like there is a real way for it just to actually delay epikfaal's own city here. So it's nice, but we'll see if it actually has any kind of impact later on. I guess this infantry can contest this city. It can't contest this one. Let's look at capture before it shows up. Or I guess it can with the follow-up of the tank. So this tank has to move over here, which is a little awkward. Ooh, the copter buy pretty early on. Seems good just because the chest is being very aggressive over here, as you would typically expect. And the copter can kind of swing to the middle, or it can swing to the side here. The chest does back up with these infantry, so it makes this capture a little bit weird. It has no help. We do have the tanks for tanks sitting on cities. Kindle staple. Okay, so this guy is going to go for this capture. It's going to be a tough one to go for. There's a single tank here. This infantry is going to be able to finish his capture, so it'll be like copter, tank, infantry at the minimum ready to contest this. The anti-air is going to be on its way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will cover, which is nice, but it will kind of come down to whether or not the copter is even reachable, because the tank and the infantry can definitely body block for it. And the tank just stands on the city too. That also stops a chest from easily standing on it. Ooh, okay. So it's a pretty nice placement here with this infantry. If the tank wants to strike it, it has to do so from some pretty bad terrain right next to a city that a chest can then do a big old bop from. So a nice way of moving the infantry up, getting in range of the city. We do get a tank strike over here. It's covered by this anti-air, so it's not too worried about this copter. Okay, we have a copter of our own. This one does get a free-ish interrupt. This copter doesn't actually reach to deny it, so we're just going to chill as is here. A little bit awkward. Epikfaal does have the city, while achesst was not able to get this one. And while I did like that early capture here, it didn't actually end up leading towards any great follow-up, which is a little disappointing. So the one thing that both players should probably start investing in is less tanks on this front and some more artillery, because this gets very choky with a ton of infantry. Achesst, master of the introduction, who needs no introduction but gets one anyway, versus epikfaal, who has lived up to their namesake in spelling their namesake. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, the tank did dive in over here. This is really risky. Would not recommend this move, just because you're next to a river and there's enough infantry over here that they can just kind of surround the tank and wait for this tank to come back and then strike you from the city and kill off your tank. So gotta be really careful. In fact, that's exactly what's about to happen. Should probably have actually... The one thing I would change here is I would just move this infantry onto this city and then move this infantry here. Because I think this guy is potentially killable by this tank. You don't really want to lose an infantry for free. Might as well just let them tag you and then you can just repair up. Okay. I assume we're going to build another copter because there's no anti-air with this deck either, so copter defense should be pretty strong. Yeah, infantry. I would say when you're going for attacks like this, like look at how many infantry are here. Tanks paired with that is okay. Artillery paired with that is really, really good. You can do rockets on this map, and they can sometimes work out. You gotta be a little bit careful because rockets are a unit that are very viable to dive on. And since there's so many like shoals and river tiles and ocean tiles here, I think it's more the ocean than the river tiles. It can make it so copters can sometimes sneak in and smack stuff. So here, I would not recommend doing this for epikfaal. It is a copter for a copter trade, right? Like the copter comes in, it gets the hit from the harbor, finish off this copter, and then the anti-air kills it. And you might be like, oh, that's fine, it's a copter for copter trades. But you gotta remember like the tempo of the situation. It's really, really easy for achesst to get another copter into this fight, and it's not quite so easy for epikfaal. Like this goes in, it trades for copter, and this copter might fly down and has to do another turn of flying down to get into the fight. Where achesst just immediately gets a copter back into the fight and kills off this copter, so it's just going to be net positive. If the penguin god were made into a playable CO, I did make a penguin CO. There's not really a penguin god CO, but you can play it on Commander Wars. I think their name is Pen, if I remember correctly. The day-to-day was very mean. It was that you would repair on your opponent's cities on their turn. Like, their cities treat your units as their own units. So it would come from their funds and everything. That was the day-to-day. I think the normal power inversed, or negated all defense stars, so the defense stars turned to negative. And then the super... I believe it deleted every unit on a production facility. What a fun CO, right? So toxic. Want to make Lash suffer, yeah. They stole from the boat. They were spies. It was a special ops penguin. Down goes the copter. Pop. Down goes the tank. Surprised this guy didn't take any full health damage there. But that's why you gotta be really careful about those dive-ins. Okay. Ooh, wow. You get their Urban Blight. It was a sack for the power. It also did quite a bit of chip damage on this tank. The tank does go down. Just like that. That's a pretty nice... Not gonna lie, that was a pretty beautiful play. That's something that you usually see more against Sonya than Kindle. Although you do see it a bit against Kindle, is that you can get those really guaranteed sacrifices. It happens for Sonya because she has that plus 50% firepower on the counterattack. Even higher than Kindle on a city. That was a very nice sacrifice breakthrough. We'll see if there's an Urban Blight response here. It looks like we are going to do one. Smack, smack. Ooh, okay. I wasn't sure if the artillery was going to stay here. It looks like it's going to work out because you can just use this tank. Or use this city. Smack that tank down to 1. Anti-air makes its way over here, but you gotta be a little bit careful for sure. Don't want to have one of these infantry get killed off, and then like the tank comes in and smacks the anti-air, and then the copter's just kind of reigning supreme. I don't think that Kindle can do that. Kindle definitely can't do that while achesst has the power, but I think maybe if the power's not active, then the 3 health infantry could maybe smack in here and then have the copter finish it off. If it was a 4 health infantry, it would for sure do it. I'm not quite sure if a 3 health would be quite enough. It's not going to be though when there's that plus 10% defense. Okay. Ooh. Epikfaal setting up. We do have the artillery here, which is good. Setting up the capture attempt on the corner city. Those are pretty tough to flip usually. Okay. Copter did get taken out here. There wasn't a replacement copter, but it's okay. Oh, it looks like Epikfaal is going to get this corner, which is really nice. Anti-air's chasing down this copter as best it can. They don't quite have the surround on it, so it can walk away. Still even in income here, but not for long. Once the city flips, things will start looking a little bit more nasty. I guess only by 1k. Because the achesst is getting this city. Ooh, we have some nice. I thought this anti-air could go around, but it can't actually. This is the only tile that could smack the copter. So really nice body blocking from Epikfaal here. Okay, achesst does have the urban blight. So that will delay this capture. I don't know if this is going to be able to be denied entirely, although that's a pretty strong attack in. I'm not gonna lie. Getting to hit the artillery and the tank, just infantry at full health over here. 1 health tank kills the 1 health tank. Pretty sure this can't die. I mean, it can't die while also having the anti-air reach the copter. Okay. So it's been a really nice play with this copter, but I think at this point it's going to start running out of options. It can like attack over here a bit and have this full health tank work as a block, like if this sacrifices itself in kind of a thing. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, because this guy can't reach that tile. Yeah, pretty decent smack on this anti-air. I like it. So this copter can come in, do some harassment. The city is indeed just going to fall. Got some more copters coming in here. Epikfaal trying to go for a unit composition when... Oh, no! The 10% defense makes it so this tank doesn't die. And that means that this tank can't hit this anti-air. It wouldn't have killed the anti-air. I think this copter would have died either way, but it would have done a decent chunk. Might have been better just kind of fall back there. Keep the copter alive. Oh, Epikfaal's 1 health tank though. It's the revenge. Do a join cap. Achesst lining up to take the city for themselves as well. I assume we're gonna have some more anti-airs coming on over here, or more copters or something, because yeah, It's a pretty scary attacking force for epikfaal. It'll be one turn where achesst is tanks over here, and pretty much all the units are going to be really vulnerable because the copter can kind of move forward here and go for attacks that the anti-air can't actually cover because there's a forest here that will slow down the anti-air but not the copters. Ooh, epikfaal looking really good with the sacrifice plays. In comes all the copter strikes. Tank follow-up. So yeah, some nice juicy swings on the slightly out of position units here. Although they did just get a bunch of kills. So yeah, the anti-air can't reach the forest. This anti-air will get to reach. It didn't actually end up dying, so it'll be at 5 health and get to shoot at a copter, which will do a lot of damage. Epikfaal would definitely prefer if that anti-air could have been cleared out. So yeah, this goes. This copter did come in for a strike on the tank. There's no follow-up unless the anti-air wants to go for it. It would kill off the tank, but it would put itself in a very vulnerable position from like an urban blight. And then vehicle follow-up. So yeah, there's that nice anti-air smack. Don't mess with those 5 health anti-airs. It didn't kill the copter, but yeah, brought it all the way down to 2. Ooh, chasing this down could definitely be dangerous. Okay, we're lining up this this capture, but there is an urban blight coming. This kind of just forces the urban blight out. Interesting. So we do have this set up so that the anti-air here can kill up and kill this copter, and I do like epikfaal's copter trade here. It's a little bit awkward because this copter doesn't die, but the idea being kind of similar to that tempo thing, where it's really easy for epikfaal to get the copter over here. It's kind of difficult for achesst too, and this does set it up so the anti-air has to strike from neighboring a city here, while epikfaal is going to have an urban blight ready to go off. And there's a bunch of other copters on the way. They both Kindle. Oh, we might not see an urban. We're not going to see an urban blight play. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Look at the patience. No replacement anti-air. Achesst is like, I can't go for that. I can't kill off that copter just to lose my anti-air and then have all these other copters kind of swarm over my army for free. Wow. Nicely done. So we do have the urban blight from epikfaal. Not quite sure about these units like this. I think it was probably a little bit precarious to have them just kind of chilling right next to the city like that. So good breakthrough for epikfaal here. The anti-air will have safer attacks, although this is still pretty nasty. I think this attack up here is probably okay for achesst, but the one down here is absolutely devastating. We're going to have pretty much back-to-back urban blights for achesst, which is nice. Down goes the copter. Then we can kill off the tank. Kind of wall off for the anti-air. Break through here. Kind of in survival mode down here for achesst. Yeah, achesst resigns. I think the top right, I think, was pretty nicely done with the fallback. But yeah, that bottom left, really nice breakthrough for epikfaal. And that's GG. Achesst does like turtles. Well played. Next we have Gertheroy? I must have misspelled that. There we go. Where's WinterFox? Dragons in the Dark. Oh, this is Smacky Cup 2, Division 2, Round 5. So this is a tournament game. Adder versus Adder. Dragons in the Dark. Yes. I guess it's fine like that. You hate the new YouTube format? Too much space between the lines? Forests. I always have +1 movement mirror. And this is by WinterFox? I'm not sure. I wonder if I can check. No, it's sent in by Gertheroy. Okay, we've talked about this map before. It's kind of interesting. It's made by Everdan, also known as Zronix, a really top-level player, especially from back in the day. Also a top-level player in Wargroove. The comm towers are not contested. Someone stares at me. So there's a whole bunch of forests that you see on the ring of this, like ringing this map. For the most part, those forests don't matter. The problem with them is that they don't really cover anything that matters. There's no properties out in these forests. Almost all the properties are in the central ring, or inside the ring, with the comm tower being the exception. So most of the stuff that happens is going to be in kind of 3 lanes of play. Up here, this section from this base kind of going up through the middle, and then up on this side. Yeah, there's a ton of forests here. Sometimes you're going to see them matter. Very rarely will they. There can be some sneaky plays to get this comm tower. There can be some, you can see like this ring of shoals. So you can build a recon from this base and go along the ring of shoals. And then hop into the woods and then spy on the bases. If you make it to this one in particular, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see this base. You see this base. You see this airport. And it's not impossible to make it over here undetected and then make your way through the forests. It's a long-term play. It can happen. Had 2 harbors for lander and B-boat plays. I mean, the movement is pretty unoptimal. It's a lot of... But that's okay. You see there's double airport. There isn't quite enough money to really make that much use out of it, but you can try and go for some double airport plays. It'd be kind of fancy. We have double comm tower. They're both not really that contestable. So most players tend to just kind of get theirs pretty much for free. There is a backwards neutral base, which isn't amazing, but you do always pretty much want to go for your neutral bases right away. So that's what we're going to see. It's a fairly large map, so that opens up a whole bunch of different openings that you can do. You can do APC openings, you can semi-rush Neo tanks, you can go heavy copter openings, you can go tank openings, you can do artillery openings, you can do recon openings. And different players definitely have some openings that they'll favor. Like if you ever play Inkagark on this map, you can pretty much always expect an early artillery going into the middle. A lot of players will kind of do an early artillery into the middle. Just be Sami, hide a bunch of infantries in the back forest and victory march everything. Yeah, you can dream that dream. It's just going to be really tough to get those infantry over there. There is no APC on the HQ. What are you talking about? There's no black boat on the HQ. So if you ever play against Sami on this map, you're going to need to keep that in mind, because what can happen is that I think it's from this to this one. Might be either of these. If they build an APC and rush you down, then Sami can just kind of take your HQ with, like, how does it work? It'll be from player 1. So like build APC, go 1, 2, 3, build infantry, hop in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, drop off here, and then go for the capture APC blocks here. It can be pretty nasty. It pretty much only gets stopped if they build a recon from this base pretty quickly and send it down towards the middle. But if they build the recon from over here, it goes down like here. You can just kind of lose to the APC. Because typically what happens is that there'll be an infantry here to attack from the mountain, and that's it. Maybe the APC is better if it blocks in the forest. I don't remember. It's one of those two tiles. Don't worry. It basically means if you play Sami on this map, you should build an early recon and send it over towards your HQ. Just to be safe. We don't have to worry about that though. We're playing an Addermere. We do have the okay, we got recon artillery, so that's kind of from WinterFox. That's pretty much the Inkagark build, which Tordred started to. I'm not even sure if Inkagark came up with that build, but there was a big old game between Tordred and Inkagark. They had this opening, and we got recon tank out of Gertheroy here. They're fine. It's kind of important to make sure your recons, at least one of them, stay alive. It's a little bit of a journey for them to make it into the center. There can be a lot of contested fighting over these central cities for sure. There's a few different meta approaches to this map. I've always been a pretty big favorite. Not always, I guess, but I guess my original approach to this map, which I think still works pretty well, is to kind of secede, or yeah, the center to them. So they just kind of get both these properties, and instead I invest everything in taking the sides, which kind of nets me more properties, and I can collapse on the center. Because from the center, it's a little awkward to go anywhere. It's a fair journey from there to stuff that matters. And it's really easy to overextend in the center. So that's an approach you can do. It looks like this one, we might see that happen. I don't know. The artillery is kind of tough to overcome. We do have double tank recon. I mean, it's possible that Gertheroy is about to collapse into the center. It's really awkward that there isn't a single infantry in range to contest this, though. You don't really want to send a recon to do it at this stage in the game. But if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. We'll see if Gertheroy does. Because you can go recon tank, interrupt this, tank hits the recon. That's kind of a desperation move. I don't think you would do it here. Just let them take the city and then you can take it back later would be my plan. But instead of like, I wouldn't start taking it back right now. Instead, it's just like really focus on the sides. And you can go for that later. Sturm is very fun here, yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a little awkward. I don't like that there's so many infantry dedicated to this in the capture phase. Like, they could be rushing up here and being a real threat. For now, they're still going to get just boxed out by this artillery, which is why the early artillery buy is pretty strong. Ooh, okay. WinterFox is not going to be going for this property, though, so that's really good news for the boys in blue. Recon gets a little bit of harassment. There's that nice missile platform to stand on. Comm tower's been contested. The recon also gets to spot that this comm tower isn't being captured yet. So we're going to have a turn, at least one turn, where the boys in blue will have 2 comm towers against 1. Ooh, double recon charging forward. Hit that infantry. Very vulnerable. They're still chilling on the roads. Ooh. There is a tank here ready to smack this recon. Although, if I'm this recon, I'm feeling pretty comfortable because I'm on a missile platform. It does want to back up, though. I don't think that's... Oh, it is far enough. I would just probably deny this. But this is also fine. Just, I like denying the city while being on a missile platform because it's kind of tough to kill that off. And the tank doesn't really know if you have a defender in range, so it's probably going to want to strike from the city, and that'll delay the capture even further. Okay, nothing decided to charge in here. The artillery doing its job. Okay. So far the map's pretty much being nicely divided. No one's jumping the gun. The essential mountains are pretty nice to stand on. Give you pretty good information about the front switching. They don't quite see everything like over here, which would be very desirable. Very risky to have a copter on the front lines, by the way. But there isn't actually an anti-air for WinterFox here. Okay, the copter decides to go for the smack. There is an anti-air here for Gertheroy, so this is going to be probably painful. The artillery can't fire here, which is nice for WinterFox, so it might just end up being essentially a copter for a copter, but we'll see. Gertheroy can pretty easily make it to a normal power, but the units on the outskirts here, I guess this tank would benefit from it, but like this artillery doesn't really care about getting +1 movement. Ooh, the copter did live. And this comm tower did get contested as well. I thought the recon was going to deny that, but... Or didn't get contested, he just got captured. So no firepower advantage here. The anti-air didn't go in, the copter went in. This copter goes down for its troubles. This one does go forward and checks this forest. I probably would have checked it from over here just because these infantry are known about, and I don't like them having quite such an easy time killing off the copter. Yeah, down goes the copter. I guess that one's always available, though. Okay. Oh. Let's go back a bit. Just a bit. There's another thing you can do. Is what this copter is doing is it's checking the forest. Where was it? Yeah. So there's a few ways you can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, if you have one, if it was one tile closer. In this case, it stood next to the forest to check it. But you can also move through the forest if you want to try and get different positioning. If there's something in the forest, you'll get trapped. But you can try and keep your low health copters alive that way. Base skips on the south base, it's fine. You can definitely get some mechs on this. Where are the mechs at? So Adder does like mechs, and mechs can be good on this map, but they require the investment of a transport unit usually. You can kind of get mechs from this base to go like mountain to mountain forest. That's not so bad. But oftentimes you'll see transport copters used, and then they'll pick up over here, or APCs used, and they'll pick up over here from the back base and transport them right into the middle. But since that requires a transport unit to be really effective, if no one ended up investing in one early on, it can be kind of expensive tempo-wise to get one once the stare down started. Okay. Ooh. Whoa. Copter sacrifice for the super. It's pretty rare that you see an adder super. It gives you +2 movement instead of +1. That's it. And it costs 5 bars instead of just 2. So typically you'll see adder just use the normal power, because if you have a full bar like this, or full charge, and you use the normal power, you can do 2 in a row without gaining any more charge. Typically you can get 3 turns in a row, because there'll be some attacks you can get away with without using the power on the second turn, and that can give you enough charge to get another normal power, and that can be really devastating, especially in brawls, because you get the +10 stats and +1 move. So it's pretty rare that you see adder going for the superpower. That's only if that going to +2 movement kind of gives you a lot that you wouldn't normally be able to get. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like in this case, this doesn't require the super. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This does require the super. That one might too, but I don't know if that's really needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that takes the super. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That does 2. So it looks like there was some pretty decent use of the super. It would kind of come down to how valuable are these 2 attacks. Are they worth giving up potentially 2 turns of normal powers? I'm not quite sold on that. Do you have some more follow-up though? I'm surprised this infantry didn't get killed off. Gonna kill off this tank too. Zoom, go the infantry. Huge dive in. The artillery are going to get some nice hits off. Okay, knocking this down to 8's decent. There's still 5 tanks and a copter over here for Gertheroy. Versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks. So that still looks... Oh, there's a copter and the artillery. It still looks pretty even. We want to keep in mind when you're judging, is it going to be viable to attack? Is it's usually the 2/3 rule. As long as you are 2/3 the force, 2/3 are greater the force of the opposing army, then you'll probably come out on top if you go in for a whole bunch of first strikes. 66% tends to be the magic number. Oh, we have another copter, so it's probably gonna be fine. That's just gonna be more than enough. Although a lot of these attacks are not looking that ideal. Yeah, you prefer to have attacks like this. Is if we look at like this attack, tank hits a 2 health tank. It's only like a net 2 tank health exchange. That's a net 4. Like you deal 6, only take 2. That's a better, much better. This one, not that much better. It's only net 2 as well, but you're still the one knocking them down to a lower amount while you're still, that can be one-shotted, and the 7 health won't be. So 2 of these tank attacks aren't amazing, but it's still looking pretty decent. The opponent's overextended. The copters are looking pretty happy. There's an anti-air staring at this army. The stream's not over quite yet. Nope. Yeah, you can sneak a recon. I haven't seen people do it lately, but when this map was in the ladder in the league and I was playing it, I would sneak a recon up, spying all this stuff. Especially in the mid to late game, there's enough econ on the map that you can kind of get away with sending a recon, but it's not needed really. WinterFox retreats. And this is where you're going to see the pain of using the super as adder. There's no charge for WinterFox here. But look at that. Gertheroy can use another normal power if need be. So a huge charge advantage for Gertheroy. Oh, we do have a nice little attack over here to go for this city. Looks like WinterFox probably saw the army doing that front shift down. The artillery does get the fire on this recon, but we'll see if Gertheroy is able to kind of move over here and save the city. There could be a little bit of a delay right there. Gonna normal power charge in. Recon, hit the artillery, hit the tank. He lives at 1. Doesn't look like there was a way to really stop that. Oh, this looks... I'm not super convinced by this attack. Fortunately for WinterFox, or for Gertheroy, WinterFox does not have a anti-air, because that would kind of make this copter really, really sad. We do have 2 captures going on during this whole thing, and that's pretty nice because most of the infantry are kind of taken out of this, so the vehicles don't really want to be used to interrupt captures. But otherwise, I think this attack is going to be pretty painful. Smack, smack. Looks like the Neo tank's getting saved to go for this tank, I guess. Like so. Attack over here honestly didn't do as much damage as I was expecting to Gertheroy. Whoa, why would the infantry stand there? That might have been a misclick? I can only assume that was a misclick, because all that infantry is doing right now is stopping WinterFox from interrupting this capture. Okay, well, Gertheroy will take that for sure. Anti-air kills the copter. We're gonna try and continue the pressure over here. Use a Neo tank, which is nasty. The medium tank, if it gets the first shot on the Neo tank, then it's not so bad. But it's gotta be really careful. Neo tanks really love to smack medium tanks. They've got +1 range and they do a lot more damage. Okay. We do now have an anti-air for WinterFox, which will help this army composition a lot. The brawling is definitely commenced in full force. Ooh, very dangerous. The medium tank is spotted here. The really dangerous thing here is that, like, we don't know what's over here. I guess the confidence is, like, if there's an artillery there, then there's enough tanks around to go for it. Yeah, that's probably what's thought. And then the medium tank gets spotted here. The bomber gets built. These airports can fall, by the way. It's fairly easy to lock them down due to this forest here. We'll see if that happens. The bomber does get spotted here, which is really unfortunate for it. If Gertheroy gets a super, it's a very sad bomber. Not happening, though. I assume we're going to have their medium tank smack the Neo tank from the city. Yeah, 5-7. Look at how it's charged. Look at that. Pew. Smack, smack. Maybe a little bit gutsy setting in the copters like that, but I guess WinterFox hasn't really shown an anti-air yet. Looks like we have an Operation Sneaky Sneaks going on over here. There, it does kill off a copter. We have the Sidewinder. The bomber's going to go after the medium tank, I assume. And then it's so sad. Look at that. The infantry steps on the mountain, reveals the anti-air. The bomber's like, do I still go for it? It's like, yeah, I gotta. Kills off the medium tank. I assume we're going to have a tank come down here or something. Although it really doesn't want to go into range of this artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can, I guess, maybe get away with putting a tank here. An infantry reach? Not quite. Oof, that sucks so much. Infantry trying to, this is all just trying to stop this anti-air from reaching the bomber. Gertheroy does use the Sidewinder. Anti-air must be able to reach. I mean, the bomber should survive unless both anti-airs reach, in which it will still survive, but like at lower health. Yeah, it reaches there. Down to 1. Very painful. There's still quite a few healthy units here for WinterFox, though, so the brawl's not over. And it's very close to losing. Gertheroy is very close to being able to lose this airport to this infantry if it manages to get a little bit closer. In range, it sees the empty airport. Next turn, if a copter doesn't get built. Smack, smack, smack. Looks like Gertheroy is going to get this city, which is good news for Gertheroy. Bomber's alive at 1. It's not the worst thing to have a 1 health bomber. It's still a really annoying blocker. Anti-air does go down. We got 2 copter kills, I think. And here, this guy's just going to chill here, spying on this airport until the prime time to strike. I would not send the bomber back to repair, by the way. That's like a 3 health bomber, not really that much better than the 1 health bomber. It's going to take a lot of your resources, both your money and also your possibility to build from that forward airport. So, wouldn't recommend that. Just live with your 1 health bomber and be happy. It can probably trade itself out for an anti-air. Okay. Yeah, you really don't want to do this. Because the nightmare scenario is that you spend all this money and turns and time repairing up this bomber, and then it just gets killed by an anti-air. And you're like, oh no. It's probably not going to make it to full health, so it's going to be one-shottable. Okay, like 5 health was what WinterFox wanted. Keep in mind, when you do this, it has to be 2 turns. Don't just do it after 1 turn, because the copter moves off. It's still in range to move back, so you do need to wait for 2 turns of no copters if you want to try and snag the airport. Just so you know. I mean, with no other information. This is a tournament game, and we're on day 25. The day limit's going to start approaching. At this point for WinterFox, I'm like, there's a bunch of units over here. I would just start moving down here and try and take this airport potentially. This one's now been locked. Was there a copter on there that got sniped? Yeah. Big armies staring at each other. Gertheroy is really far ahead in the unit value right now. Neo tank gets built. We got a fighter over here. Okay. WinterFox is probably going to start capturing the airport this turn. We do have some sneaky movement over towards this comm tower. You're diving in over here. Smack, smack, smack. It's kind of a desperation move at this point, just because the day limit's getting dangerously close. Did the bomber get to do anything good there? I wasn't quite paying attention to that. I think it hit the artillery down. 4. Decent. We got what, 1 neo tank known about, multiple copters. Copters, of course, cannot actually hide in the woods. No air units can. They fly above them. Very proud. Okay, I'm surprised. I would have expected this infantry to go for the airport capture at this point, just because while it is going to get denied, it will draw a potential unit away from this fight. Fighters zoom over, hit the bomber. Neo tanks are going to start diving in here. There's an artillery in range to this, though, so not awful for WinterFox. Gertheroy has a lot of units, though. Hit the poor tank. We actually managed to... WinterFox actually managed to develop a pretty nice infantry wall there, but yeah, we do have a nice sacrifice to break through, although nothing that healthy can break through. The neo tank will hit the anti-air, which is nice. And then that artillery gets taken out, which is very nice. Medium tank on its way. Operation Sneaky Sneaks for Gertheroy to try and get this comm tower. WinterFox is ready though. Oh, almost a free 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The super has been used. If this tank wasn't in range and this copter wasn't in range, then the airport would be free. Okay. You get to smack the Neo tank, which is really nice. There's another Neo tank, which is less nice. You have a side slip for WinterFox. Killed off the copter there, so might go for the airport. It will draw this tank away, which is nice. Help protect this anti-air. Pretty much if you're not going for the capture now, when are you? Yeah, there we go. Now the copters, now the tank's forced away from the fight to go defend the airport. Gertheroy is still really far ahead, unit value wise here. Oh, the tank didn't. Whoa. It decided to sack the airport, go after the recon. That's very dangerous. And I think it's not day 30. If it is day 30 for the day limit, then this will be a tie game with the airport capture, but I think it's higher for Fog of War, if I remember correctly. $35 days. Okay. I was gonna say it's a huge throw to just let that go if it's a day 30, but if it's day 35, then you can pretty easily take it back in time. Next over here looks pretty good. I'm surprised this Neo tank wasn't attacked. Looks like we're just going to focus on the normal tanks for now, which is okay. There isn't, I guess, that great of an attack. If it was Neo tank plus medium tank, then it probably would go for this. But that's pretty much the two ways you want to deal with those heavy vehicles, is you either focus them down or you completely ignore them. They have the same unit count, but man, is that unit value different. WinterFox has 7 more infantry with the same unit count. So 7 fewer vehicles. And quite a few injured ones. Okay, the fighter can get hit here for quite a bit of damage. Ooh, the Neo tank gets smacked. That's pretty nice for WinterFox. Another city starts being captured. This one does have this nice artillery lock on it. That's been kind of chilling in these woods for a long time. Transport copter. I think this is just being built because the day limit's so fast approaching. Side slip from Gertheroy. Yeah, we get to clear the infantry on the airport. Just take it back. Totally fine. Most of the units here are now pretty much beat up. There's still some healthy tanks over here. But at the end of the day, it looks like Gertheroy is still going to be up a single property, which is owning both of these. Most of the vehicle fighting at this point won't really matter, just because there's only 5 days left. So unless you have some nice infantry that you're protecting, going for captures, nothing will change, which does make this transport copter buy look pretty nice, because if WinterFox can just kind of all in this city and go for the tie, then things will be pretty nice. It looks like that's what we're headed towards. Kind of want to strike immediately. Oof. Medium tank on the front lines. Alright, well, it gets taken out. Captures start going down. The bomber is definitely vulnerable to getting smacked, but again, at this point, you don't really care too much. It's more about just getting those captures through. Day 33. Recon cleared, copter cleared. We have a side slip to stop this capture and kill off the bomber. Better stop this capture. Okay. Even spot the sneaky infantry. Day 33, we have a side slip. Go for some more attacks. Keep this capture. Go for the join cap. Try and get as many blockers in the way as possible. It's day 34. Have to hit this for at least 6 damage, but there's an anti here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So with the normal power active, it will be able to break through. We'll even have a nice infantry sacrifice on top of that, knocking it all the way down to 1. And that should seal the game. And WinterFox resigns. GG. A very bloody game. Always having enough for any tank. This is why you should spam anti-air, yeah. It was all anti-air carry. There was definitely some very good anti-air moves there. That's, yeah, definitely gotta be careful with the adder and the super. Especially in the mirror, you don't really want to be caught in that situation. But, very nice game. That was very back and forth. Very nice. GG. The double A. Okay, I'm gonna... keatonfox, are you still here? If you're here, I'll do the game. Otherwise, I'll call it. You're right there. I see you. You said GG. Okay. We're gonna do the keatonfox game before calling it a night. Grimmuin versus keatonfox. Grimm versus Drake. This is the Z game. Tier 3. Tier 3 Grimm, huh? So Z games are public games that anyone can join, so they're not ranked at all. They're just automatically made. The Grimmuin is a big fan of yours, alt though. It's free practice. That's true. You love Stalingrad? Here we go. I would expect Drake to be pretty mean to Grimm. While... What? This is a Grimm opening. Oh, I see. Okay. Going for this city. Usually I recommend just kind of skipping the city for as long as possible, because there isn't a great follow-up from this city. Like, you capture it and you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here, I guess? But it's a lot more valuable to be moving down this way. Try and snag some contested cities. Try and contest the corner, that kind of thing. There's other ways to get to like this capture chain. Just something to keep in mind. But some of the units that Grimm really likes to build. Ooh, we have our nice little city skip. This is the preferred strategy for getting to this corner city faster. You go for here, and then you go step, and then here. Guess they're a lot faster. Both players are doing it. Ooh, Grimm's going for a double recon. So the Grimm recons have some nice traits. They'll knock you. We have the classic APC, pick up the infantry from the airport. Nice. Grimm recons will knock your infantry below 5, usually to 4, sometimes 3, I think. And that means that you can't just sit there and capture right in front of them quite so easily. That people will often do. Like the recon hits you down to 5, and you just capture in its face because you're threatening to capture it next turn, and then you like have a tank in range to finish off the recon if it sticks around, that kind of thing. I don't know if there's specific maps for tags. That could be an interesting map challenge. Look at that little boost. Boosted there, so you can go for that city, then pick up an infantry. Very nice. But the downside to Grimm recons is that opposing tanks have a very easy time one-shotting your recons. So you gotta be careful with them. The place that they really shine is against Sami. Because they can actually interrupt Sami captures when they knock infantry down to 3. And Sami's vehicles already got that minus to their attack power, so sometimes the Grimm recons can even survive. Okay, so we got the taste coming out. But what Grimm is not going to enjoy is having all of the units take a little bit of damage, because then they'll all be very easy to one-shot. So he doesn't really like fighting global damage. Here you can see it knocks down to 4. It might take the comm tower to get knocked down to 3. We'll see. But we'll also see how vulnerable this poor tank is, or this poor recon is. You'll see a lot of Grimms go into copters, just because a copter already gets one shot by opposing anti-airs, so it kind of feels like the worst defense doesn't matter quite so much. Yeah, rest in peace, recon. Oh, poor Grimm infantry also gets smacked hard. So definitely something to keep in mind. There's a few units you'll expect Grimm to go for going to the mid and like late game. The first one's copters, and then the late game, it's pretty common for Grimms to go for stealths, because the stealth kind of has all upside, right? If you can't hit it, the minus to its defense doesn't matter, and it'll have positive firepower. So definitely keep that always in the back of your mind. It's also a little bit awkward to fight copter versus Grimm, unless you're adder, because then your copters have +1 movement. They can kind of zone out the Grimm copters, and when adder uses a power, copter plus infantry is 100% kill on a Grimm copter. Just something to keep in mind. Lots of interrupts over here. Grimm looking to be a little bit ahead in the econ game currently, but it's going to take some pretty nasty losses in order to get there. Anti-air does make it here in time. This infantry thinking it's lucky stars that nothing spotted. So Grimm is going to get that capture. And that one. Just these no fear recon attacks. I'm usually a little bit more cautious with my recons as Grimm, just because they do get one shot. But if you have enough of them, then maybe it's fine to go in like this. We'll see. But yeah, down goes the recon. Going for the comm tower. That's pretty aggressive. Or some captures over here. It can be very dicey to maintain control over these comm towers when the big attack comes through. At this point in the game, when no powers have been used, you would expect, you would at least hope that Grimm would be kind of favored in the exchanges. And right now they are up 3k, so that's pretty good. But Grimm's got the better day today. While having a way worse powers. So Grimm really wants to have a very early lead here. I'm not quite sure what this ABC is doing. Okay. So Grimm is saving up cash. Might be doing a little bit of a trying to go big brain play. Although recon, copter, infantry is not so bad. It seems like fine buys to me. I assume we're going to see a Drake super come in. Smack, smack. Here comes the Drake super. There's a nice 20k. Interrupt captures. Go for recon kills. Do whatever you want. Drake, although, wow, is Drake running low on infantry? Down to 9 versus 12. Well, if Grimm can just kill off all the infantry and be 3k up, that's pretty good. We do have 30k in the bank, so we might see a stealth, but man, okay, we don't. Triple tank copter. I was gonna say, while Grimm does like stealths, he pretty much never, ever build a stealth against Drake, because Drake doesn't even have to build a fighter to stop, like, to pretty much shut down your stealth. The fuel drain can kind of kill it off all on its own. Oh, WinterFox, it was a great game. GG. Okay. Trying to take this city. Drake or Grimm does manage to deny that. Very nice. Oftentimes what can kind of come down, what can happen on this map is that there'll be some like big central fighting or big fighting on one front, and then it's the kind of the plays on the side that will start determining a lot, because there'll be like a lot of income swapping that can happen. I'm not 100% convinced on this attack. This is only good if there isn't any infantry around to like kind of continue this capture. You don't really want to lose a tank to deny a capture. Luckily for Grimm, keatonfox is rather low on infantry on this front, so it might end up paying off. Definitely a spicy choice. Got a transport copter coming out. Keatonfox recognizing that they're getting mighty low on those infantry numbers. We do have the Knuckle Duster come out. Still 3k up. Taking some pretty heavy losses though, so that 3k is going to have to compensate pretty hard. Another interrupt. This one's pretty nicely backed up, has some pretty nice backup, but it's going to, of course, suffer some pretty heavy losses. 2 tanks kind of got smacked. We'll see what the counterattacks are looking like. Keatonfox has been pretty safe, except for that one attack that's going to end up blundering into artillery, but it comes with a nice super that does another 20k damage. We have a Neo tank on the way. No copter built. Tank infantry. Bank 9k. Okay. The range's pretty nice on this map because there are some decently large swaths of plains that slows down all the vehicles. Oof, look at that. The end of Grimm's turn still behind in unit value, although doing better in unit count and still income, of course. So this does shorten that gap by quite a bit. And the global damage kind of scales really well throughout the whole game. Well, the Grimm power, not so much. Now they're even in income. Things are looking very dicey for Grimm. The Grimm copter, drained from fuel. Oh, if this artillery was actually guarding all these tanks, that would be beautiful. I guess it's possible that the Drake tank will attack from here or here, kill or Neo tank. In which case, Grimm will be very, very happy. But yeah, it's just attacks there. Kind of surprised it didn't attack from the woods. But I guess the tank wanted to do so. Fox. It attacks over here. Goes for the lab for dominance. Starting to front shift, maybe. We do have the Drake, or not the Drake, the Grimm Knuckle Duster. Copter's going in on the Neo tank. Does get Keatonfox all the way to the normal power. We do get to deny. That was a bunch of really nice first strikes. And deny the city. I'm not as convinced about going down here, but that's okay. Who said I need to be? Keatonfox is probably going to get the super this turn. Maybe not, though, because everything's just going to run away over here, looks like. Looks like we're not going to get the super. That's okay. It does kind of give Grimm the opportunity to maybe overcharge Drake. It looks like we're not quite going to get there, though. Maybe a little bit of overcharge. Just a tiny bit. So here comes the Drake super. Do so much damage. Is that 30,000 that time? Oof. Oof. The medium tank just gets one shot on the city. Oh, Grimm, no. Why must your life be like this? We have a Drake fighter. Gonna attack this Neo tank, I guess. Smack it a little bit. This new thing does end up going down. We do have the Grimm Stealth, a classic move. Unfortunately, Drake had the super psychic senses. It actually already has a fighter. There is an APC for Grimm, so there is some infrastructure already. As it dies. Okay, it died. Never mind. There's no longer any infrastructure for the stealth. It's got to build an APC, otherwise, as soon as it gets off this airport and gets hit by any Drake power, it's just gonna crash. Stealth. It's at 54. It drains 8 fuel a turn at the start of the turn while stealth, and then it drains a fuel every time it takes a move. So it moves 6 and drains 8 at the start. That's minus 14. Yeah, minus 14 fuel every turn. So it's at 54. So if that got cut in half down to 27, it would crash in 2 turns. It would move forward, hit something, and then it just dies. No APC built. Okay, well that's a super guaranteed capture for keatonfox there. The stealth does go forward. It's at 40 fuel. So once it gets hit by this Drake normal power, it'll be down to 20. APC's built over here. I don't know if I can actually make it to the stealth in time. Especially if the stealth gets surrounded. There's the normal power. Stealth is down to 20. Fuel. It's going to start its turn, go down to 12. Well, down to 12 fuel. Yeah, the APC can't actually make it to the stealth in time, so the stealth is actually just dead, guaranteed. Because the stealth can, if it moves its full 6, it crashes at the start of its turn. So it can move 3 tiles without crashing next turn. The APC cannot reach it. Oh, never mind. It unstealthed. So now it just has to not get hit by the anti-air. Okay, unstealthing it does make it so it only drains 3 a turn, I think. It can unstealth, that's true. It's not known that it unstealthed either. So it's probably gonna be fine. Yeah, it's gonna go down to 1. Or does it drain 5 a turn? Oh, it does drain 5 a turn, and 3 more for being stealth. Okay. ABC does save it. It has to spend another turn stealthing here. The comm tower was successfully denied, although it's 22 income versus 31. There we go. It zooms forward. Stealth. I think it wasn't actually spotted doing that either, right? Yeah. Okay. Smack, smack, smack. The power bar grows some more. Nice backup imagery over here. And the transport copter. And there's a fighter over here too. Oh my gosh, this poor stealth. There's 2 fighters? Okay, it's down to 46. Okay, it's back up to full. It killed the tank. It sees a fighter. There is an anti-air that can reach it. What? The anti-air didn't go after the fighter? That's wild. Grimm did not care about the stealth? Maybe Grimm knows that keatonfox doesn't watch the replay. If keatonfox doesn't watch the replay, the stealth is still an unknown factor. No, I think it's just dead. Oh no. Oh, the anti-air fuel? You're right. Let's check. Says it has 1 there. It's only got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no! The tragedy. Okay, that's why. Okay. This fighter's actually going to run out of fuel soon. Drake is also going to need to get an APC. Typhoon. A pipe runner got built last turn. And then hit with a typhoon. Grimm resigns. GG. The Grimmuin. Is it like a penguin but Grimm? The stealth. GG. Pipe runner really broke the 5 seams. Oh no. It's a very tough matchup for Grimm for sure though. Like you got to see once that global damage hits, all the units get 1 shot. I do like the Grimm recons and the Grimm copters. Maybe a little too aggressive on the Grimm recons, but it was kind of working out for a while there. And it's a penguin. That's the Grimmuin. GG, well played. Hope everyone enjoyed. I'll be back on Friday. Fingers crossed. Can I show the kills to death? Has resigned. What? Built units, built value. I don't know why it says 90. Oh, 90 units built. So Drake built a very clean 500,000 in value. A good 50,000 more. If you want to look at deaths, Grimm lost 22 more and over 100,000 more, almost 150,000 more in value. Ooh, the damage dealt apparently gets calced in for the global damage. Look at that. I thought there was going to be a difference there. Poor Grimm. That's kind of be expected though. 5 normal powers versus 1 normal power and 4 supers. Oof. Only keatonfox did any joining. GG. He just says Grimm is good versus Grit. I could see it. A smaller map would be a lot better for Grimm. Hope everyone enjoyed. I leave you with your apple. It's been good to be back. Hopefully, I'll be back on Friday, and then things will start getting nice and regular again in the following week. You get apple twice. There you go, Fluffy. 2 apples just for you. Thanks for watching, everybody.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins, that's his thing.